Hundreds of millions of years ago, our world looked nothing like it does today. Vast continents that have long since vanished, and creatures so fearsome, from razor-toothed sea reptiles to armored tank-like beasts, they made even today's top predators seem like harmless pets. This was the prehistoric world millions of years ago, long before the continents we know and inhabit today. And believe me, the continents back then were absolutely terrifying. Welcome to the untamed wilderness of prehistoric Asia, the largest and most diverse continent on Earth. With its sprawling landscapes, Asia has always been home to a staggering variety of creatures, each more fascinating than the last. But while today's Asia is known for its incredible biodiversity, none of the animals we know today can compare to the terrifying beasts that once roamed this land millions of years ago. Imagine a world where giant, monstrous bears towered over even the largest Kodiak and polar bears of today. A time when colossal apes, nearly twice the size of modern humans, could easily be mistaken for the final boss in the movie Planet of the Apes. And let's not forget the sea monsters, massive, fearsome creatures lurking beneath the waves, ready to push your thalassophobia to its absolute limits. Prehistoric Asia had it all, an animal kingdom both unique and terrifying in equal measure. Today we'll dive deep into this fearsome world, uncovering the legendary creatures that ruled the ancient continent of Asia. Get ready to embark on a journey through time, where the wildest nightmares of the past come to life. Ever heard of a dinosaur that looks like a duck, but can actually grow almost as tall as a T-Rex? That may not sound real, but it actually was. And this dinosaur was called Deinocheirus. Deinocheirus is one of the most fascinating and enigmatic dinosaurs ever discovered, primarily due to its bizarre appearance and unique adaptations. Deinocheirus lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 70 to 69 million years ago. It was first discovered in 1965, with its massive arms being the initial discovery. For decades, it remained one of the biggest mysteries in paleontology, as only its arms were known. These arms were among the largest of any theropod dinosaur, which were about 2.4 meters long, ending in large, clawed hands. Each hand had 3 fingers, with the middle finger bearing a particularly large claw that could reach up to 32 centimeters in length. However, in 2014, more complete skeletons were found, revealing the full bizarre nature of this dinosaur. Deinocheirus was a large theropod dinosaur with an estimated length of up to 11 meters from head to tail. It stood about 4.5 meters tall at the hips, making it one of the largest theropods known. This dinosaur was quite massive, with estimates of its weight ranging from 6 to 7 metric tons. The skull of Deinocheirus was elongated and flat, measuring about 1 meter in length. It had a wide, duck-like bill with a toothless beak, likely used for feeding on a variety of plant material and possibly small animals. The body of Deinocheirus was robust and bulky, with a large barrel-shaped torso. Its back was arched, and it had a distinctive sail or hump on its back, supported by elongated neural spines. It is believed to have been an omnivore, feeding on a mix of plants, small animals, and possibly fish. The duckbill shape of its snout, combined with stomach stones, also known as gastroliths, found in its fossilized remains, suggests that it could have foraged for aquatic plants and small prey in rivers and lakes. This next dinosaur is especially known for its long scythe-like claws that could literally tear you apart. Therizinosaurus lived during the late Cretaceous period, around 70 to 66 million years ago. It was first discovered in 1948, with its enormous claws initially leading paleontologists to believe it was a giant turtle. It wasn't until later that it was recognized as a theropod dinosaur. The discovery of more complete fossils in the late 20th century helped clarify its bizarre anatomy and ecological role. Therizinosaurus belongs to a group of theropods known as Therizinosauridae, which were all unusual in their adaptations. Unlike its more carnivorous relatives, Therizinosaurus was likely herbivorous or possibly omnivorous. Its long claws were probably used to pull down branches or strip leaves from trees, similar to how modern sloths use their claws. Its small head and beak suggest it was a selective feeder, possibly specializing in high vegetation that other herbivores couldn't reach. Therizinosaurus was a large dinosaur, with estimates of its length reaching up to 10 meters. It stood about 5 meters tall when upright, making it one of the tallest theropods. Estimates of Therizinosaurus's weight vary, but it likely weighed between 3 to 5 metric tons. The most striking feature of Therizinosaurus was its incredibly long arms, which were each about 2.5 meters long. The hands had 3 enormous claws, each claw reaching up to 1 meter in length. These claws were the longest known of any dinosaur and were likely used for pulling down branches or for defense. The skull of Therizinosaurus was relatively small compared to its body, with a long neck that supported a small head. The skull was elongated and had a toothless beak at the front, with leaf-shaped teeth further back, suitable for cropping vegetation. Therizinosaurus had a robust, bulky body, with a broad, barrel-shaped chest and a large abdomen. Its torso was massive, giving it a somewhat stocky appearance compared to other theropods. Let's move on with the Deinocheirus's brother, at least when we talk about looks, because both dinosaurs look very similar. Shantungosaurus is one of the largest known hadrosaurid, or in other words, duck-billed dinosaurs, and is notable for its massive size and distinctive features. It lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 70 to 66 million years ago, right up to the end of the age of dinosaurs. Shantungosaurus was first described in 1973, based on fossils discovered in the Shandong province of China. It is one of the largest ornithopods ever discovered. It could reach lengths of up to 16.6 meters, and estimates for its weight range from 13 to 16 metric tons, making it the heaviest known hadrosaurid. The skull of Shantungosaurus was large, measuring around 1.63 meters in length. Like other hadrosaurids, Shantungosaurus had highly specialized teeth arranged in dental batteries, which allowed it to efficiently process tough vegetation. These teeth were constantly replaced throughout the dinosaur's life. Shantungosaurus had a robust and powerful body. Its torso was deep and broad, with a large rib cage that housed a massive digestive system necessary for processing large amounts of plant material. Now the next dinosaur looks like he is cosplaying as a chicken. Ever saw a dinosaur with feathers before? No? Well, now you did. Yutyrannus is a fascinating dinosaur, notable for its large size and the presence of feathers, which has provided significant insights into the evolution of tyrannosaurs. This dinosaur lived during the early Cretaceous period, approximately 125 million years ago. Yutyrannus was first described in 2012 after several well-preserved fossils were found in the Yixian Formation. The discovery was groundbreaking because it provided the first clear evidence that large theropods could be feathered. The name Yutyrannus means feathered tyrant, which reflects both its predatory nature and its feathered body. Yutyrannus was a large theropod dinosaur, reaching up to 9 meters in length. This makes it one of the largest known feathered dinosaurs. It weighed approximately 1.4 metric tons, making it a medium-sized tyrannosauroid, considerably smaller than the famous Tyrannosaurus rex, but still large compared to many other theropods. Unlike its larger cousin Tyrannosaurus rex, Yutyrannus had relatively long and functional arms with 3 fingers, each tipped with a sharp claw. These could have been used for grasping prey or interacting with its environment. The skull of Yutyrannus was robust and elongated, measuring about 90 centimeters in length. It had a strong jaw with sharp serrated teeth that were well adapted for a carnivorous diet. After talking only about dinosaurs up until now, let's move on to some mammals that lived during that time. Let's start with this prehistoric big cat. Megantereon is a fascinating prehistoric saber-toothed cat known for its formidable size and impressive adaptations as a predator. It lived during the late Pliocene to the early Pleistocene epochs, approximately 3 million to 500,000 years ago. Megantereon has been known to science for over a century, with numerous fossils discovered across Europe, Africa, Asia, and North America. The genus name Megantereon means large beast, reflecting its formidable size and predatory capabilities. It was a large, muscular predator, though not as massive as some of its later relatives like Smilodon. It had a body length of approximately 1.75 meters, excluding the tail, and stood about 1 meter tall at the shoulder. Megantereon weighed between 90 and 150 kilograms, making it comparable in size to modern big cats like lions or tigers, but with a more robust build. The most distinctive feature of Megantereon was its large, elongated canine teeth, or sabers, which could grow up to 10 to 15 centimeters in length. These teeth were flattened and had serrated edges, ideal for slicing through flesh. It had retractable claws like modern big cats, which were sharp and used to hold on to prey. The strong forelimbs and claws suggest it may have used a stab and retreat hunting strategy, immobilizing prey with its claws before delivering a fatal bite. Now, this next animal looks like a pig that comes straight out of hell. This not only sounds terrifying, this animal was terrifying. Andrewsarchus is one of the most intriguing and mysterious prehistoric mammals, known primarily from a single massive skull. It lived during the Middle Eocene epoch, approximately 45 to 36 million years ago. Andrewsarchus was discovered during an expedition led by the American Museum of Natural History in the 1920s, and it was first described by the famous paleontologist Henry Fairfield Osborn in 1924. The genus name Andrewsarchus honors Roy Chapman Andrews, the leader of the expedition, who was a prominent figure in paleontology and is often cited as an inspiration for the character Indiana Jones. Andrewsarchus is often considered one of the largest terrestrial carnivorous mammals ever discovered, though its size is mostly inferred from its skull. The skull itself is enormous, measuring about 83 centimeters in length and 56 centimeters in width. Estimates of Andrewsarchus's overall size and weight are speculative, as no postcranial skeleton has been found. However, based on comparisons with related species, it's estimated that Andrewsarchus could have weighed between 800 to 1,000 kilograms, making it a large and powerful predator. The skull of Andrewsarchus is its most distinctive feature. It had a long, robust snout filled with large, sharp teeth. The teeth included powerful molars and premolars, adapted for crushing bone, as well as large, sharp canines. Although the body structure of Andrewsarchus is not known with certainty, it is generally reconstructed as having a large, robust body similar to that of a modern wolf or hyena, but on a much larger scale. For the next animal, we got a giant bear that towers over modern Kodiak and polar bears regarding the size. Arctotherium is a genus of prehistoric short-faced bears that lived during the Pleistocene epoch, approximately 2 million to 11,000 years ago. These bears were among the largest terrestrial carnivores ever to exist. The first fossils of Arctotherium were discovered in the early 20th century in Argentina, and the genus was named in 1914. The name Arctotherium means bear beast, reflecting its massive size and fearsome appearance. Arctotherium is known for its massive size, particularly the species Arctotherium angustidens. The largest individuals could reach heights of up to 3.4 meters when standing on their hind legs and approximately 1.8 meters at the shoulder when on all fours. The estimated weight of the largest Arctotherium species, particularly Arctotherium angustidens, ranges from 1,600 to 1,900 kilograms. This makes it one of the heaviest land carnivores, surpassing even the modern Kodiak bear and the polar bear. The body of Arctotherium was stocky and muscular, with a massive chest and shoulders. Its limbs were relatively long compared to modern bears, giving it a more upright, almost sloth-like posture. This body structure is characteristic of short-faced bears, which had a relatively flat face compared to other bears. Arctotherium belonged to a group of bears known as short-faced bears, characterized by their relatively flat faces, long limbs, and large bodies. This unique morphology is believed to have been an adaptation for a more predatory lifestyle compared to other bears. Ever watched Planet of the Apes? If you said no, you might think that this giant ape is the final boss of the movies. Gigantopithecus is one of the most intriguing and mysterious prehistoric primates, often depicted as the largest ape that ever lived. It lived during the Pleistocene epoch, approximately 2 million to 300,000 years ago. Gigantopithecus was first discovered in 1935 when a German paleontologist named Ralph von Koenigswald found fossilized teeth being sold as dragon bones in a traditional Chinese medicine shop. The genus name Gigantopithecus means giant ape, reflecting the creature's enormous size. Gigantopithecus is estimated to have stood around 3 meters tall when upright and weighed between 200 to 300 kilograms, with some estimates suggesting even greater weights, up to 540 kilograms in the largest individuals. These estimates are based on the size of its teeth and jawbones, as no complete skeletons have been found. The most informative fossils of Gigantopithecus are its teeth and jawbones. The teeth were large, with flat molars suited for grinding tough vegetation. The canines were reduced, indicating that Gigantopithecus likely had a diet more focused on plant material than on the meat-eating behaviors associated with some other large primates. The jawbone was extremely robust and wide, suggesting a strong bite force and a diet that could include fibrous and hard plant materials, such as bamboo. Although no complete skeletons have been found, it is assumed that Gigantopithecus had a body structure similar to modern great apes, such as gorillas or orangutans, but on a much larger scale. It likely had long arms, a broad chest, and a somewhat hunched posture, possibly spending a significant amount of time on all fours, similar to modern knuckle-walking apes. Do you have your diving equipment with you? Good, because now we are going underwater. The prehistoric seas probably had the most terrifying animals of all time, and one of these was the Mosasaurus. Mosasaurus is one of the most well-known and formidable marine reptiles of the late Cretaceous period, often depicted as a giant sea predator. It lived approximately 82 to 66 million years ago. It existed right up until the end of the Cretaceous, going extinct during the mass extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs and many other species. Mosasaurus was first discovered in the late 18th century in the Netherlands, and its discovery played a significant role in the early development of paleontology. The name Mosasaurus means Meuse lizard, named after the river Meuse, near where the first fossils were found. The genus was formally described in 1822 by William Daniel Conybeare, making it one of the earliest identified marine reptiles. Mosasaurus was one of the largest genera of mosasaurs, with the most famous species, Mosasaurus hoffmannii, reaching lengths of up to 17 meters. Other species within the genus varied in size, but all were significant predators in their environments. The estimated weight of Mosasaurus was around 14,000 kilograms, making it one of the largest marine reptiles, rivaling some of the smaller species of modern whales. Mosasaurus had a large, elongated skull with powerful jaws filled with sharp, conical teeth. These teeth were adapted for seizing and holding onto slippery prey, such as fish and other marine reptiles. The teeth were arranged in a way that allowed Mosasaurus to deliver powerful bites, capable of piercing through the tough skin and armor of its prey. The body of Mosasaurus was streamlined and torpedo-shaped, ideal for fast swimming. Its body was elongated, with a powerful tail that contributed to its propulsion through water. Unlike earlier marine reptiles like plesiosaurs, Mosasaurus had a more flexible body, allowing it to maneuver efficiently in the water. It was an apex predator in its marine ecosystem, sitting at the top of the food chain. It preyed on a wide variety of marine animals, including fish, smaller marine reptiles, ammonites, and possibly even other mosasaurs. Its large size and powerful jaws meant that few creatures in its environment could challenge it. Another terrifying sea predator was the Pliosaurus. Pliosaurus is a genus of large marine reptiles that lived during the late Jurassic period, approximately 155 to 145 million years ago. It is known for being one of the most formidable marine predators of its time. Pliosaurus was first described in the 19th century based on fossils found in England. The genus name Pliosaurus means moor lizard, reflecting its classification as a pliosaurid, a group of short-necked plesiosaurs characterized by their large heads and powerful bodies. Pliosaurus was a massive predator, with estimates suggesting that it could reach lengths of up to 12 to 13 meters, although some species might have been smaller. Its robust body and large head made it one of the apex predators of the Jurassic seas. The weight of Pliosaurus is estimated to have been around 10 to 15 metric tons, depending on the species and size of the individual. This made it one of the heaviest marine reptiles of its time. Pliosaurus had a large, elongated skull, with some species' skulls measuring up to 3 meters in length. The skull was equipped with powerful jaws filled with sharp, conical teeth, which were adapted for seizing and holding onto large prey. The teeth could be up to 30 centimeters long, making them ideal for puncturing and gripping slippery prey like fish, other marine reptiles, and possibly large cephalopods. Pliosaurus had a streamlined, barrel-shaped body, which was muscular and robust. This body structure provided the strength needed for powerful swimming, making Pliosaurus an efficient predator capable of short bursts of speed to ambush prey. As you can see, Asia was home to countless fearsome creatures back then, but it wasn't just the Asian continent that was home to such creatures. On other continents, there were also countless huge and fearsome creatures that would terrify you. Africa today is renowned for its unparalleled biodiversity, from the sweeping savannas where lions, cheetahs and leopards rule as apex predators, to the dense jungles inhabited by stealthy leopards and the crocodile-infested rivers of the Nile. The continent's iconic landscapes teem with life, offering a window into the raw power and beauty of nature. Yet, as awe-inspiring as Africa's wildlife is today, it pales in comparison to the untamed ferocity of its prehistoric past. In the deep recesses of ancient Africa, predators roamed that would have struck terror into the heart of even the fiercest of today's beasts. Imagine colossal crocodiles, twice the size of the largest saltwater crocodiles of today, with a bite force so immense that it could crush the bones of massive creatures with ease. These ancient reptiles were the undisputed tyrants of the waterways, lurking in wait for any creature that dared approach. And then there were the so-called killer frogs, far larger than any modern amphibian, capable of preying upon small and even juvenile dinosaurs, leaving no corner of prehistoric Africa safe from their reach. But this is just the beginning. Join me as we delve into the terrifying world of prehistoric Africa, where we uncover the monstrous predators that once dominated this ancient land. Starting off, we got Sarcosuchus, a colossal supercroc that could grow up way larger than modern crocodiles. Its bone-crushing bite made it one of the deadliest predators in prehistoric Africa's rivers. Sarcosuchus, commonly known as the supercroc, lived during the early Cretaceous period, approximately 145 to 100 million years ago. This enormous crocodiliform inhabited the lush river systems and swampy regions of the African continent during a time when the environment was vastly different from today. The name Sarcosuchus is derived from Greek, where sarko means flesh and suchus means crocodile. Thus, Sarcosuchus translates to flesh crocodile, a fitting name for this enormous predator that was one of the most fearsome carnivores of its era. Fossil remains of Sarcosuchus have been primarily found in the Sahara Desert, particularly in regions like Niger. The most significant discovery was made by French paleontologist Albert Félix de Lapparent in the 1940s. But it wasn't until the 1990s and early 2000s that more complete specimens were unearthed. These fossils have provided valuable insights into the animal's size, structure, and lifestyle. Some of the most notable finds include nearly complete skulls and vertebrae, which have helped paleontologists reconstruct this ancient giant. Sarcosuchus was one of the largest crocodile-like reptiles to ever exist, measuring up to 12 meters in length and weighing around 4 tons. Its skull alone could reach nearly 1.8 meters in length, housing an array of conical teeth designed to grip and hold onto prey. Unlike modern crocodiles, Sarcosuchus had a long, somewhat narrow snout with a bulbous end, which may have enhanced its sense of smell. The sheer size of this creature, along with its heavily armored body and powerful tail, made it a formidable predator in its habitat. Sarcosuchus was an apex predator, primarily feeding on large dinosaurs and fish. Its powerful jaws and conical teeth were ideal for gripping and tearing apart its prey. Unlike some modern crocodiles, which often rely on a death roll to subdue their prey, Sarcosuchus likely relied on its sheer size and strength to overpower its victims. Next, we have Arsinoitherium, a bizarre rhinoceros-like mammal with 2 massive conical horns, towering over its forested surroundings and intimidating any creature that dared cross its path. Arsinoitherium lived during the late Eocene to the early Oligocene epochs, approximately 36 to 30 million years ago. This unique mammal roamed the ancient landscapes of northern Africa, particularly in areas that were once lush and swampy, a stark contrast to the arid deserts found in the region today. The name Arsinoitherium comes from Queen Arsinoe of Egypt, and the Greek word therium, meaning beast. Therefore, Arsinoitherium translates to Arsinoe's beast. The creature was named in honor of the region where its fossils were first discovered, near the Fayum Oasis in Egypt, a location historically linked to the ancient Egyptian queen. Fossils of Arsinoitherium have been primarily found in the Fayum Depression of Egypt, an area that has yielded a wealth of prehistoric mammal remains. The first fossils were discovered in the early 20th century, providing paleontologists with an exceptional glimpse into the diverse fauna of ancient Africa. Arsinoitherium was a massive mammal resembling a modern-day rhinoceros, but belonging to a different evolutionary lineage. It stood about 1.8 meters tall at the shoulders and could reach a length of 3 meters. One of its most striking features was the pair of large conical horns on its snout, which were made of bone and could grow up to 90 centimeters long. It also had a smaller pair of horns located just above its eyes. Its body was stocky and robust, with sturdy legs to support its considerable weight. Despite its size and fearsome appearance, Arsinoitherium was an herbivore with teeth adapted for grinding tough vegetation. Though it bore a superficial resemblance to modern rhinoceroses, Arsinoitherium was not closely related to them. It belonged to a different group of extinct mammals known as Embrithopoda. Modern rhinos have keratin horns, whereas Arsinoitherium's horns were bony and covered with a layer of skin. Up next is Pachyrhacota, the giant hyena, a scavenger and predator bigger than its modern relatives, using its immense jaws to crush bones and feast on carcasses. Pachyrhacota lived during the Pleistocene epoch, approximately 2.5 million to 11,000 years ago. The name Pachyrhacota comes from the Greek words pachy, meaning thick or massive, and krokouta, referring to the spotted hyena. Therefore, Pachyrhacota translates to massive hyena, a fitting name for this giant relative of modern hyenas. Fossils of Pachyrhacota have been discovered in several locations across Africa, with notable finds in regions such as South Africa and Ethiopia. The most well-known species, Pachyrhacota brevirostris, has also been found in parts of Eurasia, indicating its wide range during the Pleistocene. Fossil remains, including skulls, teeth and limb bones, reveal that Pachyrhacota was the largest hyena species known to science. Pachyrhacota was significantly larger and more robust than modern hyenas. It stood about 1 meter tall at the shoulder and could weigh up to 100 kilograms, making it nearly twice the size of the largest living hyena, the spotted hyena. It had a powerful build, with strong jaws and large, bone-crushing teeth adapted for breaking into the bones of large mammals. Its short, stocky limbs indicate that it was not a fast runner, but was well suited for scavenging, using its immense strength to drive off other predators from their kills. While Pachyrhacota shares many physical and behavioral traits with modern hyenas, particularly the spotted hyena, it was much larger and more specialized in bone crushing. Modern hyenas are more versatile in their hunting and scavenging behaviors, whereas Pachyrhacota was likely more specialized as a scavenger of large carcasses, exploiting its size to dominate other predators. Next, we got Dinornis, the giant moa, a flightless bird that towered over the forests of prehistoric Africa, with a size so immense that it had no natural predators until humans arrived. Dinornis, commonly known as the giant moa, lived from the late Pleistocene to the early Holocene. It is notable as one of the largest flightless birds to have ever existed, dominating its ecosystems until the arrival of humans. The name Dinornis comes from the Greek words deinos, meaning terrible or fearsome, and ornis, meaning bird. Therefore, Dinornis translates to terrible bird, a reference to its enormous size and imposing presence in its natural habitat. Dinornis was an exceptionally large flightless bird, with some individuals standing over 3.6 meters tall when fully upright. It had a robust body, long neck, and powerful legs, but notably lacked wings, having only vestigial wing bones buried under its plumage. This complete flightlessness, combined with its considerable size, made Dinornis the tallest bird known to have ever existed. Despite its height, Dinornis had a relatively lightweight, hollow-boned skeleton, a characteristic shared with many other birds. Its legs were strong and well adapted for walking and foraging, but they were not built for running. The bird's large size and long neck allowed it to browse vegetation that was out of reach for smaller animals, giving it a unique ecological niche. While Dinornis is not directly related to any surviving species, it shares similarities with modern ratites like ostriches, emus, and cassowaries. However, Dinornis was much larger and more specialized than these modern flightless birds. Unlike ostriches, which are adapted for running, Dinornis was slower moving and more reliant on its size to deter potential predators. Here we have entelodonts, known as terminator pigs. These fierce omnivores were armed with powerful jaws and massive bodies, dominating prehistoric landscapes as both predator and scavenger. Entelodonts, often referred to as Terminator pigs or hell pigs, lived from the late Eocene to the Miocene epoch, approximately 37 to 16 million years ago. These fearsome creatures inhabited regions across North America, Europe, and Asia. While they were not native to Africa, their presence in regions closely connected to ancient Africa influenced the ecosystems of their time. The name entelodont comes from the Greek words enteles, meaning complete or perfect, and odous, meaning tooth. Therefore, entelodont translates to perfect-toothed, a reference to their formidable dental structure that was well adapted for an omnivorous diet, capable of tearing flesh and crushing bones. Entelodont fossils have been discovered across various parts of North America, Europe, and Asia. The fossil record includes well-preserved skulls, teeth, and partial skeletons. The most famous genus, Diodon, was the largest of the entelodonts and is known primarily from North American fossil sites. Their fossils suggest that they were one of the dominant land predators and scavengers of their time. Entelodonts were large, pig-like creatures, but they were not true pigs. They could stand up to 2 meters tall at the shoulder and weigh up to 900 kilograms. They had massive, elongated skulls that could reach up to 80 centimeters in length, with a set of large, powerful jaws equipped with sharp, robust teeth. These teeth were capable of tearing flesh, crushing bone, and grinding plant material, indicating an omnivorous diet. Their bodies were muscular and built for power, with long, sturdy legs and cloven hooves. Despite their size, they were likely agile and capable of rapid bursts of speed, allowing them to chase down prey or scavenge efficiently. Though entelodonts resembled pigs in their general body shape and hoofed feet, they were only distantly related to modern pigs and boars. Entelodonts belonged to a separate, now extinct family known as Entelodontidae. Let's look at Stegodon now, an ancient elephant-like giant with straight tusks and a towering presence. It roamed the forests of prehistoric Africa and Asia as a dominant herbivore. Stegodon lived from the Miocene to the late Pleistocene. This ancient elephant-like mammal roamed various regions, including Africa, Asia, and parts of Southeast Asia, where it was particularly widespread. Stegodon was one of the dominant herbivores of its time, adapting to diverse habitats ranging from forests to grasslands. The name Stegodon comes from the Greek words stegos, meaning roof, and odon, meaning tooth. This name, roof tooth, refers to the ridged appearance of Stegodon's molars, which had distinctive roof-like patterns that were well suited for grinding plant material. Stegodon was a large, elephant-like mammal, with some species reaching up to 4 meters tall at the shoulder and weighing as much as 12 tons. Its most distinctive feature was its pair of long, straight tusks, which could extend over 3 meters in length. These tusks were positioned close together at the base, differing from the more widely spaced tusks of modern elephants. Stegodon had a relatively short trunk compared to modern elephants, inferred from the structure of its skull. Its molars were large and had a roof-like pattern with thick enamel, adapted for chewing a variety of vegetation, including leaves, branches, and grass. The body of Stegodon was massive and robust, with thick column-like legs built to support its enormous weight. While Stegodon was related to modern elephants, it belonged to a separate, now extinct lineage within the Elephantidae family. Its teeth were simpler and more primitive than the highly ridged molars of modern elephants, indicating differences in dietary preferences and feeding strategies. Unlike the elephants of today, which have more diverse habitats, Stegodon was primarily adapted to forested and woodland environments. Its tusks were also straighter and closer together, setting it apart from the curved and more spaced tusks of modern elephants. Next is Beelzebufo, the devil frog, a massive amphibian that lurked in Madagascar's prehistoric wetlands, capable of preying on small dinosaurs with its powerful bite. Beelzebufo, often referred to as the devil frog, lived during the late Cretaceous period. This prehistoric amphibian thrived in what is now Madagascar, an island that had a unique and diverse ecosystem during that time. The name Beelzebufo is derived from Beelzebub, a name often associated with the devil, and bufo, Latin for toad. Therefore, Beelzebufo translates to devil toad or devil frog, a fitting name for this large, formidable amphibian, which was unlike any other frog in its appearance and behavior. Beelzebufo was an exceptionally large frog, estimated to grow up to 40 centimeters in length and weigh around 5 kilograms. It had a broad, muscular body with a large, flattened head and a wide mouth lined with powerful jaws. Its skull was heavily ossified, suggesting a strong bite force capable of subduing sizable prey. Unlike modern frogs, which often have smooth skin, Beelzebufo is believed to have had a more robust, armored appearance, possibly with bony projections or rough skin. Its limbs were strong and likely adapted for both ambushing prey and digging. The sheer size and build of Beelzebufo made it an apex predator among amphibians. Beelzebufo is distantly related to modern horned frogs, like the South American Pac-Man frogs. However, Beelzebufo was much larger and more formidable than any frog alive today. Modern horned frogs share some behavioral and anatomical traits with Beelzebufo, such as a sit-and-wait predatory strategy and a wide mouth capable of consuming large prey. However, Beelzebufo's size and strength were unmatched in the modern amphibian world. Next up is Machairodus, a saber-toothed cat that used its elongated fangs to deliver deadly strikes to its prey, a swift and powerful hunter of the Miocene era. Machairodus lived during the Miocene to the Pliocene epochs. It was one of the earlier members of the saber-toothed cat lineage, representing a key stage in the evolution of these iconic predators. The name Machairodus is derived from the Greek words machaira, meaning dagger or knife, and odus, meaning tooth. Therefore, Machairodus translates to knife tooth, a reference to its elongated, blade-like canine teeth that were adapted for slicing through the flesh of its prey. Machairodus was a large, saber-toothed cat, with some species reaching lengths of up to 2 meters from nose to tail and standing about 1 meter tall at the shoulder. It was built with a robust and muscular body, long limbs, and a relatively short tail compared to modern big cats. The most striking feature of Machairodus was its elongated, saber-like canine teeth, which could grow up to 30 centimeters in length. These teeth were flattened and serrated, resembling blades designed for slicing through the flesh of large prey. Its skull was adapted to support these massive teeth, with a powerful jaw and neck muscles to deliver strong, precise bites. Unlike the more heavily built saber-toothed cats like Smilodon, Machairodus had a more agile build, suggesting it was capable of running and pouncing on its prey. While Machairodus shares a common ancestry with modern big cats like lions and tigers, it belongs to a different subfamily known as Machairodontinae. Its saber-like canines and overall skull structure are distinct from the conical canines of modern cats. Unlike modern big cats that use a combination of strength and suffocation to bring down prey, Machairodus likely used its saber teeth to deliver deep, slashing wounds, quickly incapacitating its victims. Now let's talk about Hyenodon, a fearsome carnivore with a long, narrow skull and razor-sharp teeth. This apex predator hunted with unmatched precision across Africa and beyond. Hyenodon lived during the late Eocene to the Miocene epoch. This genus of carnivorous mammals roamed across multiple continents, including Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America. They were among the dominant predators of their time, filling a crucial role in prehistoric ecosystems. The name hyenodon comes from the Greek words hyaina, meaning hyena, and odon, meaning tooth. Despite its name, hyenodon was not related to modern hyenas. The name refers to its hyena-like teeth, which were well suited for slicing through flesh and bone, indicating a highly carnivorous diet. Hyenodon was a medium to large-sized carnivore with a robust build. The largest species could reach lengths of up to 2 meters and stand about 1 meter tall at the shoulder. Its most distinctive feature was its elongated skull, which could make up more than half of its body length in some species. This skull housed a powerful set of jaws equipped with sharp, shearing teeth designed for slicing through flesh and crushing bones. Its teeth included prominent carnassials, specialized teeth that acted like scissors, efficiently processing meat. Hyenodon had a relatively slender body with strong limbs, suggesting that it was an agile and fast predator capable of chasing down prey. Though Hyenodon shares some superficial similarities with modern carnivores like hyenas and big cats, it belonged to an entirely different order called Hyenodontidae. Unlike modern carnivores, which belonged to the order Carnivora, Hyenodon had a different evolutionary lineage. Its elongated skull and dental structure were unique, adapted for a hyper-carnivorous lifestyle, while modern carnivores display a broader range of dietary adaptations. Introducing Chalicotherium, a strange clawed herbivore that walked on its knuckles and used its long limbs to pull down branches, looking more like a gorilla than anything alive today. Chalicotherium lived during the Miocene to the Pliocene epochs. This unusual herbivorous mammal roamed the ancient landscapes of Africa, Europe, and Asia, inhabiting forests, open woodlands, and grasslands. The name Chalicotherium is derived from the Greek words chalix, meaning gravel or pebble, and therion, meaning beast. Therefore, Chalicotherium translates to gravel beast, possibly a reference to the stony ground it may have inhabited or its unique teeth, which were adapted for chewing coarse vegetation. Chalicotherium was an unusual-looking mammal, resembling a combination of a horse, gorilla, and giant sloth. It stood about 2.5 to 3 meters tall when rearing on its hind legs and had a bulky, robust body. One of its most distinctive features was its long, clawed forelimbs, which were much longer than its hind limbs. These claws, which could reach several inches in length, were likely used for pulling down branches to feed on leaves and fruits. Unlike most large herbivores, Chalicotherium had relatively small teeth suited for browsing on soft vegetation rather than grazing on grass. Its legs were structured so that it walked on its knuckles, similar to modern gorillas, which helped protect its claws from wear while walking. This unique body structure made Chalicotherium unlike any other herbivore in its environment. Chalicotherium was not directly related to any modern animal, but was part of an extinct group of odd-toed ungulates called Chalicotheres. While it shared a distant ancestry with horses and tapirs, its specialized limbs and claws make it more comparable to a giant sloth in behavior. Unlike modern browsing animals that use their necks to reach high vegetation, Chalicotherium used its claws to manipulate and gather food. As we've seen, the Africa of prehistoric times was a land ruled by creatures far more fearsome than anything we could imagine today. Though these titans have long since vanished, their legacy lives on in the fossilized remnants they left behind, offering us a glimpse into a time when Africa was truly the domain of giants. But of course, Africa was not the only continent during prehistoric times where terrifying and cruel creatures thrived. Ever heard about giant killer penguins that could grow bigger in size than the average human? No? Today, Antarctica is the coldest, most unforgiving place on Earth. With temperatures plunging as low as -128 degrees Fahrenheit or -89 degrees Celsius, it's a frozen wasteland where only the toughest creatures survive. Here, apex predators like the fearsome polar bear and the highly intelligent and deadly killer whales rule the icy waters with ruthless efficiency. But imagine a time when Antarctica wasn't just a frozen desert. Imagine an era when it was a thriving, lush land teeming with life. And not just any life, but some of the most terrifying predators ever to walk, swim, or fly. Welcome to Prehistoric Antarctica, a place where nightmare fuel became reality. Picture towering penguins standing taller than the average human, or monstrous marine reptiles that could swallow you whole in a single gulp. This was a land where colossal amphibians lurked in ancient rivers and forests, and where carnivorous dinosaurs with serrated teeth hunted the plains. From the formidable Cryolophosaurus, a predator with a distinctive crest and a deadly bite, to the gigantic Xiphactinus, an ancient fish that dwarfed modern-day sharks, prehistoric Antarctica was home to a lineup of predators that make today's polar bears and killer whales look tame by comparison. Get ready to dive into the heart of an ancient world where the coldest place on Earth was also one of the deadliest. Starting off, we've got the Palaeodiptes, a giant penguin that towered over humans, turning the icy waters of ancient Antarctica into its hunting ground. Palaeodiptes lived during the Eocene epoch, approximately 37 to 34 million years ago, a time when Antarctica was far warmer than it is today. This period was crucial in the development of many modern bird species, and the Palaeodiptes penguins were among the dominant avian species of their time. The name Palaeodiptes is derived from Greek roots, paleo, meaning ancient, and eudiptes, which is a combination of eu, good, and diptes, diver. Together, the name Palaeodiptes can be interpreted as ancient good diver, reflecting its place as an early and efficient swimmer in the penguin lineage. This penguin was one of the largest penguins to have ever existed. Estimates suggest that this giant penguin stood about 1.8 meters and weighed between 90 to 115 kilograms, making it significantly larger than any modern penguin species, including the emperor penguin. Physically, Palaeodiptes had a robust and streamlined body, ideal for powerful swimming. Its wings had evolved into strong, flipper-like structures, enabling it to navigate through the water with remarkable agility and speed. Unlike modern penguins, which have relatively short necks, Palaeodiptes likely had a longer neck, which might have aided in its hunting strategy. Its beak was elongated and pointed, well suited for catching fish and other prey. As a giant penguin, it was primarily a marine predator. Its diet likely consisted of fish, squid, and possibly smaller marine creatures like krill. The shape of its beak and the strength of its flippers suggest that it was an adept hunter, capable of pursuing fast-moving prey underwater. Like modern penguins, it probably formed large colonies where it could engage in social behaviors such as nesting and raising chicks. These colonies would have been established on the rocky shores of ancient Antarctica, where the penguins could find protection from predators and access to the rich feeding grounds in the surrounding seas. Moving on, we have Glacialisaurus, a large herbivorous dinosaur that roamed the Antarctic forests, using its size and strength to fend off hungry carnivores. Glacialisaurus lived during the early Jurassic period, approximately 190 million years ago. This period was characterized by the early diversification of dinosaurs and the breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea. The name Glacialisaurus is derived from the Latin word glacialis, meaning icy or frozen, and the Greek word sauros, meaning lizard. The name translates to ice lizard, a fitting title given its discovery in Antarctica, a continent now known for its icy conditions. The name reflects both the harsh conditions under which its fossils were discovered and the ancient climate of its habitat. Glacialisaurus was a large herbivorous dinosaur belonging to the group known as sauropodomorphs, which includes the ancestors of the later, more famous giant sauropods. It is estimated that Glacialisaurus reached lengths of about 6 to 7.5 meters and likely weighed several tons. The dinosaur had a robust, bulky body supported by strong, muscular legs, which allowed it to move efficiently across the varied terrain of prehistoric Antarctica. Its neck was relatively long, enabling it to reach vegetation at different heights, while its tail provided balance and stability. The limbs of Glacialisaurus were adapted for both quadrupedal and bipedal movement, allowing it to rear up on its hind legs to access higher vegetation if necessary. Glacialisaurus had a small head in proportion to its body, typical of sauropodomorphs, with a mouth equipped with leaf-shaped teeth designed for stripping leaves and other plant material. Its teeth and jaw structure indicate it was a selective feeder, choosing specific types of vegetation to consume. Glacialisaurus likely lived in herds or small groups, which would have provided protection against predators and facilitated the rearing of young. The social structure of these herds might have included cooperative behavior, such as group feeding or shared defense mechanisms against predators. Next up is Antarctopelta, an armored dinosaur equipped with spiked plates and a tail club, ready to defend itself against the fiercest predators. Antarctopelta lived during the late Cretaceous period. The name Antarctopelta is derived from Antarcto, referring to Antarctica, and pelta, the Greek word for shield. Thus, the name translates to Antarctic shield, a reference to the dinosaur's heavily armored body, which was its primary means of defense against predators. Antarctopelta was an ankylosaur, a type of herbivorous dinosaur known for its heavy armor and defensive adaptations. It had an estimated length of about 4 to 5 meters and a weight ranging from 1 to 2 tons. Despite its size, Antarctopelta was heavily fortified, with its body covered in thick bony plates called osteoderms, which acted like a natural suit of armor. These osteoderms varied in size and shape, with larger spiked plates along the back and sides, providing protection against the teeth and claws of predators. Antarctopelta also had a tail club, a feature common among ankylosaurs, which it could use as a powerful weapon to deter attackers. The tail club was likely reinforced with additional bone, making it a formidable tool for defense. The head of Antarctopelta was relatively small compared to its body, with a broad, flat skull that was also covered in protective armor. As an herbivore, Antarctopelta primarily fed on the diverse plant life of Cretaceous Antarctica, which included ferns, cycads, and conifers. Antarctopelta was likely a slow-moving dinosaur, spending much of its time grazing on low-lying vegetation. Its heavy armor made it less agile, but it also made it well protected against the carnivorous dinosaurs of its time. When threatened, Antarctopelta would have relied on its armor and tail club to defend itself, swinging its tail to deliver powerful blows to any predator that came too close. Diving into the seas, we encounter Tanniwosaurus, a massive marine reptile with jaws strong enough to crush anything in its path. Tanniwosaurus lived during the late Cretaceous period, approximately 85 to 70 million years ago. This was a time when the dinosaurs were still dominant on land, but the seas were ruled by massive marine reptiles. The name Tanniwosaurus is derived from Taniwa, a word from Maori mythology referring to a water-dwelling creature, often considered a guardian or a monster, and sauros, the Greek word for lizard. Thus, Tanniwosaurus translates to Taniwa lizard or monster lizard, an apt name for a creature that was one of the formidable predators of the ancient seas. Tanniwosaurus was a genus of mosasaur, a group of large marine reptiles closely related to modern snakes and monitor lizards. It was a formidable predator with an estimated length of about 6 to 9 meters. Tanywausaurus had a streamlined, elongated body designed for speed and agility in the water, making it an efficient swimmer capable of pursuing its prey with relentless precision. Its head was large and robust, equipped with powerful jaws lined with sharp, conical teeth. These teeth were designed to grip and crush the bones of its prey, making it a lethal hunter. Unlike some of its relatives, Tanywausaurus had relatively shorter and deeper jaws, which may have given it a stronger bite force, allowing it to tackle larger and more challenging prey. Its eyes were large and well adapted to low light conditions, suggesting that it could hunt in deeper, darker waters where light was scarce. As a top marine predator, Tanywausaurus had a diet that likely consisted of a variety of marine animals, including fish, squid, ammonites, and even other marine reptiles. Its powerful jaws and teeth allowed it to seize and dismember large prey, and it may have employed ambush tactics, lurking in deeper waters before striking at unsuspecting prey. Now, let's talk about Cryolophosaurus, a fearsome predator with a distinctive crest on its head, ruling the land with its powerful jaws and deadly bite. Cryolophosaurus lived during the early Jurassic period. The name Cryolophosaurus is derived from Greek roots, cryo meaning cold or icy, lophos meaning crest, and sauros meaning lizard. The name translates to frozen crested lizard, a reference to both its icy Antarctic habitat and the distinctive crest on its head. Cryolophosaurus was a large theropod dinosaur, estimated to have been about 6 to 7.5 meters in length and weighing around 450 to 680 kilograms. Its most striking feature was the unusual crest on its head, which ran across the top of its skull from side to side, giving it a distinctive pompadour appearance. This crest was likely used for display purposes, possibly to attract mates or to establish dominance within its species. Cryolophosaurus had a typical theropod body plan with a large, powerful head, strong jaws filled with sharp, serrated teeth, and long, muscular legs built for running. Its arms were relatively short but equipped with sharp claws, which it likely used to grasp and subdue prey. The skull of Cryolophosaurus was large and robust, with numerous openings that helped reduce its weight. The teeth were curved and serrated, perfect for slicing through the flesh of its prey. This combination of physical features made it a formidable predator, well adapted to hunting in the diverse environments of Jurassic Antarctica. As an apex predator, Cryolophosaurus was likely at the top of the food chain in its environment. Its diet would have consisted primarily of large herbivorous dinosaurs, smaller theropods, and possibly even marine reptiles or fish if it ventured near water sources. Given its size and predatory nature, Cryolophosaurus likely had few natural enemies, allowing it to roam the landscape relatively unchallenged. Emerging from the ancient rivers is Antarctosuchus, a giant amphibian that lurked in the water, waiting to ambush any prey that came too close. Antarctosuchus lived during the Triassic period. This was a time shortly after the Permian-Triassic extinction event, the most severe extinction event in Earth's history, where life on the planet was recovering and diversifying. The name Antarctosuchus is derived from Antarcto, referring to Antarctica, and suchus, derived from the Greek word suchos, meaning crocodile or lizard. The name translates to Antarctic crocodile lizard, highlighting both its geographic origin and its reptilian, amphibious nature. While not a crocodile in the modern sense, this name reflects its fearsome, crocodile-like appearance and predatory behavior. Antarctosuchus was a large amphibian, belonging to the group known as temnospondyls, which were early amphibians that often reached impressive sizes. It is estimated that Antarctosuchus could grow up to 3 meters in length making it one of the largest predators in its environment. Its body was robust and powerful, with a broad, flat skull that was well adapted for capturing prey in aquatic environments. Its eyes were positioned on the top of its head, similar to modern-day crocodiles, allowing it to partially submerge in water while still keeping watch for prey and predators. Antarctosuchus had strong, muscular limbs with webbed feet, which enabled it to move efficiently both in water and on land. Its tail was long and laterally compressed, providing powerful propulsion through the water. The overall build of Antarctosuchus suggests it was a highly effective ambush predator, capable of striking quickly and with lethal force. As a large amphibian, it was primarily an aquatic predator. Its diet would have consisted of fish, smaller amphibians, and possibly even early reptiles that ventured too close to the water's edge. The sharp teeth and powerful jaws of Antarctosuchus were well suited for grasping and subduing prey, which it likely swallowed whole or in large chunks. Soaring above the ancient lakes, we find Pterodaustro, a bizarre pterosaur with a mouthful of bristle-like teeth, perfect for filter feeding. Pterodaustro lived during the early Cretaceous period. This period was marked by the continued diversification of dinosaurs and other prehistoric life, including pterosaurs, the flying reptiles that ruled the skies. The name Pterodaustro is derived from Greek roots, ptero meaning wing and daustro, which refers to the south, indicating its southern hemisphere discovery. The name translates to southern wing, reflecting both its classification as a pterosaur and its geographic origin. Pterodaustro is one of the most distinctive pterosaurs, known for its unusual feeding adaptations. It was a medium-sized pterosaur with a wingspan of about 2.5 to 3 meters. Its body was relatively lightweight, typical of pterosaurs, with hollow bones that reduced its weight and allowed for efficient flight. However, what set Pterodaustro apart from other pterosaurs was its unique and specialized beak. The lower jaw of Pterodaustro was elongated and curved upward, containing around 1,000 thin, bristle-like teeth. These teeth were arranged in a comb-like structure, resembling the baleen of modern filter-feeding whales. The upper jaw had far fewer teeth and was shaped to fit neatly over the lower jaw, allowing Pterodaustro to close its mouth while filtering food. The rest of its body was well adapted for a life spent in and around water. Its long, narrow wings were perfect for gliding over lakes and coastal waters, where it could easily spot prey. Pterodaustro's most distinctive behavior was its method of feeding. It was a filter feeder, similar to modern flamingos or baleen whales. Pterodaustro likely fed by skimming the surface of water bodies, using its bristle-like teeth to filter small organisms from the water. The curved shape of its jaw and the fine structure of its teeth allowed it to trap and consume large quantities of these tiny organisms efficiently. Next, we have Ophthalmosaurus, an ichthyosaur with enormous eyes, perfectly adapted for hunting in the dark depths of the prehistoric oceans. Ophthalmosaurus lived during the late Jurassic period. This era was a time of great marine diversity, with the oceans teeming with life, including a wide variety of marine reptiles, fish, and invertebrates. The name Ophthalmosaurus is derived from Greek roots, ophthalmos meaning eye, and sauros meaning lizard. The name translates to eye lizard, a reference to its most distinctive feature, its enormous eyes. These eyes were among the largest relative to body size of any known vertebrate, and they played a crucial role in its ability to hunt in the dimly lit depths of the ocean. Ophthalmosaurus was a medium-sized ichthyosaur, measuring about 6 meters in length and weighing around 500 to 900 kilograms. Its body was streamlined and torpedo-shaped, perfectly adapted for fast swimming. The most striking feature of Ophthalmosaurus was its large, rounded eyes, which could reach up to 23 centimeters in diameter. These eyes were supported by bony rings, known as sclerotic rings, which helped maintain the shape of the eyes under the high pressure of deep water. The large size of the eyes suggests that Ophthalmosaurus had exceptional vision, particularly in low light conditions, enabling it to hunt at great depths where sunlight could not penetrate. It had a long, narrow snout filled with conical teeth, ideal for gripping slippery prey like fish and squid. Unlike some other ichthyosaurs, Ophthalmosaurus did not have teeth at the very front of its snout, which may indicate a highly specialized feeding strategy. Ophthalmosaurus was a fast and efficient predator, primarily feeding on fish and cephalopods such as squid. It probably used a combination of speed and agility to pursue its targets, snapping them up with quick movements of its long snout. After capturing its prey, Ophthalmosaurus would have swallowed it whole, as its teeth were not adapted for chewing. Next, there's Xiphactinus, a gigantic predatory fish with a set of razor-sharp teeth, ready to devour anything unfortunate enough to cross its path. Xiphactinus was one of the most formidable fish to ever swim in the ancient oceans, ruling the waters during the late Cretaceous period. Known for its massive size, razor-sharp teeth, and aggressive nature, Xiphactinus was a top predator in the marine ecosystems of its time. This large predatory fish is often described as the bulldog of the Cretaceous seas, reflecting its powerful build and ferocious hunting style. Xiphactinus was an enormous bony fish, with some individuals reaching lengths of up to 6 meters or more, which is absolutely crazy when you think about that a random fish grew bigger than many other fearsome marine predators like the crocodile Dacosaurus. Its body was robust and streamlined, built for speed and power, allowing it to chase down prey in the open ocean. The overall shape of Xiphactinus was somewhat reminiscent of a modern tarpon or barracuda, but on a much larger scale. One of the most striking features of Xiphactinus was its large head, which housed a wide, gaping mouth filled with sharp, dagger-like teeth. These teeth were perfectly adapted for gripping and tearing into prey, making it a highly effective predator. The lower jaw of Xiphactinus was particularly prominent, with a slightly protruding chin that added to its intimidating appearance. The combination of its powerful jaws, sharp teeth, and keen eyesight made Xiphactinus a formidable hunter in the ancient seas. The body of this massive fish was covered in large overlapping scales that provided both protection and a hydrodynamic advantage. Its pectoral and pelvic fins were well developed, allowing for precise control and maneuverability in the water. The caudal fin of Xiphactinus was deeply forked, providing powerful thrusts that enabled it to reach high speeds when pursuing prey. On land, we meet Australovenator, an agile predator known as the cheetah of the Cretaceous, that could chase down its prey with incredible speed. Australovenator lived during the late Cretaceous period. The name Australovenator is derived from Latin roots, australis, meaning southern, and venator, meaning hunter. The name translates to southern hunter, reflecting both its geographic origin in Australia and its role as a predator. Australovenator is often nicknamed the cheetah of the Cretaceous due to its presumed speed and hunting prowess. It was a medium-sized theropod dinosaur, estimated to have been about 6 to 8 meters in length and weighing around 450 to 1,000 kilograms. It had a slender, lightweight build, which suggests that it was adapted for speed and agility, much like modern-day predators such as cheetahs. One of the most distinctive features of Australovenator was its arms, which were long and muscular, ending in 3-fingered hands equipped with large, curved claws. These claws were likely used to grasp and subdue prey, making Australovenator a formidable predator. Its skull was relatively small and lightweight, with sharp, serrated teeth that were perfect for slicing through flesh. Its jaw structure indicates that it had a strong bite force, enabling it to deliver lethal bites to its prey. The overall body plan of Australovenator was highly specialized for active predation, combining speed, agility, and powerful weapons to take down a variety of prey animals. As a theropod, Australovenator was a carnivore that primarily fed on other dinosaurs. Its diet likely consisted of smaller to medium-sized herbivorous dinosaurs, such as ornithopods and sauropods. Australovenator was likely an ambush predator, using its speed and agility to launch surprise attacks on unsuspecting prey. There is also the possibility that Australovenator hunted in packs, as some modern predators do, to take down larger prey that would have been difficult to subdue alone. With prehistoric Antarctica, we've seen a world far more terrifying and mysterious than the frozen continent we know today. From giant penguins and monstrous marine reptiles to apex predators that ruled the land and sea, this ancient landscape was truly a land of nightmares. But it's also a reminder of the incredible diversity of life that once existed on our planet, even in the most extreme environments. Think modern America is wild? We've got bears that raid garbage cans, mountain lions that occasionally wander into suburbs, and wolves that howl in distant national parks. We worry about stepping on rattlesnakes or encountering an angry moose. But here's the thing. We're living in the safest, most domesticated version of America that has ever existed. Because tens of thousands of years ago, this same landscape was home to creatures so terrifying, so impossibly dangerous, that they make our worst nightmares look like a petting zoo. This was an America where 2,000-pound bears stood 11 feet tall, where cats the size of small cars stalked through forests, and where even the herbivores could crush you without breaking stride. This was Prehistoric America, a continent-sized horror movie where everything had teeth, claws, or tusks designed for one purpose: survival through absolute merciless violence. These weren't just big animals, they were evolutionary masterpieces of destruction, each one perfectly adapted to kill, maim, or terrorize anything that crossed their path. And remember, this was all real. This was Earth. This was here. Our first terror comes from the La Brea tar pits, where thousands of bones tell the story of nature's most efficient killing machine, the dire wolf. Forget everything you think you know about wolves. The dire wolf wasn't just bigger, it was built like a living battering ram. Standing 2.5 feet tall at the shoulder and stretching 5 feet long, these 150-pound monsters possessed jaws that could crush bone like we crack nuts. Their skulls were 20% larger than modern wolves, housing teeth designed for one purpose: dismantling their prey piece by piece. What made them truly terrifying wasn't just their size, it was their pack mentality. Archaeological evidence shows they hunted in coordinated groups, using teamwork to bring down massive prey like ground sloths, bison, and even young mammoths. Their bite force of 1,500 pounds per square inch meant that once they clamped down, escape was impossible. These weren't just predators, they were prehistoric executioners that ruled the American landscape for over 100,000 years. But if dire wolves were the executioners, then Arctotherium was the judge, jury, and ultimate nightmare. Meet the giant short-faced bear, the largest carnivorous land mammal that ever terrorized North America. Standing 11 feet tall on its hind legs, taller than most ceilings, this 2,000-pound monster could look down at a modern grizzly bear like we look down at a house cat. With legs longer than any bear alive today, Arctotherium could run up to 40 miles per hour, meaning it could chase down a horse and catch it. Its massive paws, each the size of dinner plates, ended in claws that could disembowel prey with a single swipe. The true horror of Arctotherium lay in its versatility. Unlike modern bears that are largely omnivorous, this giant was primarily carnivorous, with bone-crushing teeth that could splinter mammoth bones to get at the nutritious marrow inside. It didn't just scavenge, it actively displaced other predators from their kills, including entire packs of dire wolves. When this bear showed up at a carcass, everything else ran. Even saber-toothed cats knew better than to argue with 2,000 pounds of prehistoric fury. Speaking of cats, let's meet the apex feline predator that made even Arctotherium think twice. Panthera atrox, the American lion. This wasn't just big for a cat, it was the largest cat that ever lived in North America. Measuring up to 8 feet long without the tail and weighing up to 500 pounds, the American lion was 25% larger than modern African lions. But size was just the beginning of its nightmare credentials. Unlike the social African lions we know today, American lions were likely solitary hunters, meaning each individual had to be capable of taking down prey that would challenge an entire pride. Their hunting strategy was pure terror. With incredibly powerful forelimbs and retractable claws the size of railroad spikes, they could leap onto the backs of bison and ground sloths, using their weight and momentum to bring down prey twice their size. Their bite force could crush the spine of a horse, delivering instant paralysis. Evidence suggests they regularly hunted young mammoths and mastodons. Imagine a cat so powerful, it considered baby elephants a regular meal. When you combine the stealth of a cat with the power of a small truck, you get nature's perfect ambush predator. Now, you might think that herbivores can't be terrifying, but you've never met Megatherium, the giant ground sloth that could kill you just by standing up too quickly. Picture this nightmare, a creature 20 feet long, 12 feet tall when rearing up, weighing as much as an elephant, 8,000 pounds of muscle, fur, and attitude. Megatherium wasn't your lazy tree sloth. This monster had claws longer than baseball bats, each one capable of gutting a predator with surgical precision. These weren't just for digging, they were weapons of mass destruction attached to arms that could bench press a car. What made Megatherium truly terrifying was its unpredictability. Modern herbivores like hippos are among the most dangerous animals on Earth, and giant ground sloths had all that aggression plus claws that could disembowel a dire wolf in one swipe. Their thick hide was like natural armor, making them nearly invulnerable to predator attacks. When threatened, they would rear up on their hind legs, towering over their attackers like a furry skyscraper of death. Even the mighty Arctotherium learned to avoid adult Megatherium, because when 8,000 pounds of angry sloth comes crashing down, even giant bears become pancakes. If giant ground sloths were living fortresses, then mastodons were prehistoric tanks with a bad attitude and tusks that could impale a car. Standing 10 feet tall and weighing up to 12,000 pounds, mastodons weren't just big, they were engineering marvels of destruction. Their tusks, growing up to 8 feet long, weren't just for show. These ivory spears could pierce through the thick hide of any predator foolish enough to challenge them. Unlike their mammoth cousins, mastodons had straighter, more dagger-like tusks, making them incredibly effective weapons. But here's what made mastodons particularly nightmarish. They were aggressive. While modern elephants are generally peaceful and less provoked, mastodons lived in a world where everything wanted to eat them or their young. This constant threat made them incredibly territorial and quick to violence. Their trunk wasn't just for eating, it was a 400-pound battering ram that could snap the spine of a predator. When a 12,000-pound mastodon charged, the ground shook for miles. Trees splintered like toothpicks, and even the largest predators scattered. They didn't just defend themselves, they eliminated threats with extreme prejudice, turning the prehistoric American landscape into their personal domain through sheer overwhelming force. While mastodons ruled the forests, their northern cousins brought a different kind of terror to the frozen landscapes of Ice Age America, the woolly mammoth. Standing 11 feet tall and weighing up to 14,000 pounds, woolly mammoths were living icebreakers covered in 3-foot-long hair. But it wasn't just their size that made them terrifying. It was their adaptation to a world of endless winter. Their curved tusks, growing up to 16 feet long, weren't just weapons. They were ice picks capable of breaking through frozen rivers and demolishing entire forests. The true horror of encountering a woolly mammoth lay in their intelligence and memory. These weren't mindless giants. They had complex social structures, could hold grudges, and remembered threats for decades. Their thick, insulated hide could shrug off attacks that would cripple other animals, while their massive feet could crush predators like grapes. In the frozen wasteland of prehistoric America, where survival meant constant warfare against the cold and predators, woolly mammoths were apex survivors. They didn't just endure the Ice Age, they dominated it, creating highways through the frozen landscape by sheer force, leaving behind a trail of broken ice and shattered bones of anything foolish enough to challenge them. From the ice fields we move to the Great Plains, where herds of bison antiquus turned the grasslands into a stampeding sea of horns and fury. Don't confuse these with modern bison. Bison antiquus stood 8 feet tall and weighed up to 3,500 pounds, nearly twice the size of today's buffalo. Their horns weren't just bigger, they were longer, sharper, and deadlier, spanning up to 6 feet from tip to tip. These weren't just defensive weapons, they were offensive tools designed to gore, impale, and destroy. But individual size wasn't what made bison antiquus truly terrifying. It was their numbers and mob mentality. Imagine herds of 50,000 giant bison, each one a living battering ram, moving across the plains like a prehistoric tsunami. When they stampeded, the earth shook for dozens of miles. Trees were flattened, rivers were crossed by walking over the bodies of the fallen, and anything in their path was simply erased. Predators didn't hunt adult bison antiquus. They waited for the old, sick, or young to fall behind. Even the mighty American lions knew that attacking a healthy adult was suicide. These weren't just herbivores. They were a natural disaster with hooves, turning the Great Plains into their personal highway of destruction, where the only rule was, get out of the way or get trampled into prehistoric paste. But not every prehistoric predator relied on size and brute force. Some chose a different approach. Speed so extreme it defied physics and terror so pure it left prey frozen in helpless panic. Meet Myricynonyx, the American cheetah. Weighing up to 150 pounds and built like a Formula One race car with claws, the American cheetah could reach speeds of 70 miles per hour, faster than any land animal alive today. But unlike African cheetahs, these weren't delicate speedsters. They were robust, powerful cats with the acceleration of a sports car and the killing power of a leopard. What made the American cheetah truly nightmarish was its hunting strategy. While other predators relied on ambush or pack tactics, American cheetahs were persistence hunters on steroids. They would spot their prey from miles away, then begin their terrifying pursuit. There was no hiding, no escape, no mercy. Just the growing thunder of approaching death as this prehistoric missile closed the distance. Their prey would run until their hearts burst from exhaustion, but the American cheetah would still be gaining ground. When they finally struck, it was with surgical precision, a bite to the throat that ended the chase in seconds. In a world of giant predators, the American cheetah proved that sometimes the most terrifying thing isn't the biggest monster. It's the one that can catch you no matter how fast you run. Our next prehistoric nightmare comes from an unexpected source. Imagine a camel, but bigger, meaner, and equipped with the attitude of a honey badger on steroids. Meet Camelops, the American camel that turned the deserts of prehistoric North America into their personal kingdom of spite. Standing 9 feet tall and weighing over 1,800 pounds, Camelops wasn't just bigger than modern camels, it was built for warfare. With legs like tree trunks and a neck that could swing like a wrecking ball. These weren't the gentle, domesticated camels we know today. These were wild, aggressive giants that could kick hard enough to shatter bones and had teeth designed to strip bark from trees or flesh from predators. What made Camelops particularly terrifying was their temperament. Modern camels are notoriously bad-tempered, but Camelops lived in a world where everything wanted to eat them. This constant threat turned them into paranoid, aggressive giants that would attack first and ask questions never. Their spit wasn't just disgusting, it was a biological weapon that could blind predators long enough for those massive hooves to finish the job. They traveled in herds, creating moving fortresses of fury that could trample entire packs of dire wolves. In the harsh deserts of prehistoric America, where water was scarce and predators were everywhere, Camelops didn't just survive, They thrived by being more stubborn, more aggressive, and more downright mean than anything else in their environment. Prehistoric America was a landscape painted in teeth, claws, and primal terror. These weren't just animals, they were nightmares made flesh, evolutionary experiments in how many different ways nature could design the perfect killing machine. We're incredibly lucky to live in modern America, where our biggest wildlife concerns are whether that coyote might get into our trash, or if we remembered to hang our food properly while camping. Because for millions of years, America was a place where simply existing required facing down creatures so terrifying that they make every monster movie look tame by comparison. Australia. We all know it. We all love it. It's the land down under where everything's upside down, including the wildlife. Giant spiders that could probably play basketball, crocodiles that make Godzilla look like a gecko, and let's not forget the notorious drop bears that make even the bravest Aussies quiver in their boots. But hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to dive into the real Jurassic Park of the Southern Hemisphere. Welcome to Prehistoric Australia. You might think that Australia couldn't get any weirder and more terrifying with its animals, but you thought wrong. Kangaroos that dwarf humans, snakes that could grow bigger than the largest modern snakes, lizards that were way larger in length than many cars, and wombats that were bigger and more massive than modern cows. And that's not even all. Prehistoric Australia was full of terrifying creatures, and today we're taking a closer look at some of them. Starting off with the Procoptodon, the heavyweight champion of the ancient Australian outback. These colossal kangaroos didn't just hop around. They packed a punch that would make even the toughest kangaroo think twice. Legend has it that their boxing skills were so fierce, they'd make Mike Tyson jealous and had a kick that could send you flying back to the Ice Age. But don't worry, they only used their knockout moves to impress potential mates and settle disputes over who got the best grazing spot. But enough with the jokes. Let me deliver you some facts about this extinct kangaroo. The Procoptodon was a genus of giant short-faced kangaroos that roamed the earth during the Pleistocene epoch. These impressive creatures were native to Australia and are among the most well-known extinct megafauna from the continent. In terms of appearance, Procoptodon resembled modern kangaroos, but were much larger and had a more robust build. They were characterized by their short faces, large hind legs adapted for hopping, and relatively small forelimbs. One of the most distinctive features of Procoptodon was its unusually large size, particularly evident in its hind legs, which were adapted for powerful hopping. The Procoptodon was significantly larger and heavier than modern kangaroos. While exact measurements can vary depending on the species within the genus, some estimates suggest that they stood up to 2 meters tall and weighed around 200 kilograms. This makes them significantly larger than any modern kangaroo species. Procoptodon likely inhabited a range of environments across Australia, from woodlands to grasslands. Their large size and powerful hind legs suggest that they were adapted for long-distance hopping, allowing them to cover vast distances in search of food and water. It's believed that they were primarily herbivorous, feeding on a diet of grasses, shrubs, and other vegetation that was abundant in their habitat. However, that would not mean that a conflict between humans and Procoptodon would be ruled out. After all, one can only speculate about how they would behave towards humans. Some of you might shiver in fear coming across this animal, but only as long as you don't suffer from ophidiophobia, or in other words, the fear of snakes. If you suffer from ophidiophobia, encountering a Yurlunga would have you wishing you were in a different epoch altogether. The Yurlunga was a remarkable extinct snake that once inhabited Australia during the Pleistocene epoch. This ancient serpent belonged to a group of pythons known as the Madsoidae family, and was among the largest snakes to have ever existed. In appearance, the Yurlunga would have been a truly awe-inspiring sight. While specific details about its appearance are limited due to the scarcity of fossil evidence, it's believed that it shared some similarities with modern pythons and anacondas, but on a much larger scale. Some estimates suggest that the Yurlunga could have reached lengths of up to 6 meters or more, making it almost as large or even larger than some of the largest modern snakes like the reticulated python. Its sheer size would have made it a formidable predator, capable of taking down large prey with ease. However, despite its intimidating size, the Yurlangur was likely a relatively stealthy hunter, relying on ambush tactics and its powerful constriction to overpower its victims. Yurlangur likely inhabited a range of environments across Australia, including forests, grasslands and wetlands. They would have preyed upon a variety of animals, including small mammals, birds and reptiles, using their incredible strength to subdue their quarry. Encountering this snake in the wild would be truly terrifying. The next animal might also look terrifying, but is indeed really peaceful, I might add. If you're afraid of wombats, however, for whatever reason, you'd have been quaking in your boots at the sight of the Phascolonus, the heavyweight champion of the wombat world. This fascinating creature roamed Australia during the Pleistocene epoch. While modern wombats are known for their sturdy build and burrowing habits, Phascolonus took things to a whole new level. In terms of appearance, they would have resembled its modern counterparts, but on a much larger scale. Estimates suggest that these ancient wombats could have weighed up to 300 kilograms and stood over a meter tall at the shoulder, making them significantly larger than any living wombat species. With their powerful claws and robust build, Phascolonus was likely a master excavator, capable of digging extensive burrow systems for shelter and protection. These burrows would have provided refuge from predators and shelter from the elements, allowing them to thrive in a variety of environments across Australia. Despite their impressive size, the Phascolonus was likely a herbivore, feeding on a diet of grasses, roots, and other vegetation that was abundant in their habitat. Their large size may have also afforded them some degree of protection against predators, although they would have still faced threats from carnivorous marsupials, such as Thylacoleo and Megalania. Speaking of the Megalania, let's continue with it right away. Also known as the giant ripper lizard, the Megalania was the largest lizard to have ever lived. Known scientifically as Varanus priscus, Megalania was a close relative of the modern-day Komodo dragon, but on a much larger scale. Estimates suggest that it could have reached lengths of up to 7 meters and weighed as much as 1,000 kilograms. With its massive size and powerful jaws armed with serrated teeth, Megalania was likely a fearsome predator, capable of taking down large prey with ease. It would have been a top-tier predator in the ancient Australian ecosystem, feeding on a variety of animals including small mammals, birds and even other reptiles. Despite its impressive size, Megalania was likely a relatively stealthy hunter, using ambush tactics to surprise its prey before delivering a fatal bite. Its robust build and armored scales would have provided some protection against potential threats, although it would have still faced competition from other apex predators such as the Thylacoleo. Now, after talking about such a terrifying creature, let me introduce you to a friendly animal for once. Prepare to meet the gentle giant of prehistoric Australia, the Zygomaturus. Like all other animals on this list, this fascinating creature roamed the continent during the Pleistocene epoch. Zygomaturus belonged to a group of marsupials known as diprotodontids, which also includes modern-day wombats and kangaroos. In terms of appearance, Zygomaturus would have resembled a cross between a wombat and a kangaroo, with a stout body and powerful hind limbs adapted for hopping. Estimates suggest that it could have reached sizes comparable to a modern-day cow, but significantly more massive, making it one of the largest herbivores of its time. Despite its impressive size, Zygomaturus was likely a relatively peaceful animal, spending its days grazing and socializing with other members of its species. It would have inhabited a range of environments across Australia, including woodlands, grasslands and wetlands, where it played a key role in shaping the ecosystem through its feeding habits and interactions with other species. Its large size would have provided some degree of protection against predators, although it likely faced threats from carnivorous marsupials such as Thylacoleo and Megalania. And these were just a few of the truly fearsome animals that lived in prehistoric Australia. And although many would never set foot on this continent, myself included, because of some animals, like these big-ass spiders that live in modern Australia, we can still be happy that these fearsome animals from back then are now history. The story of our planet is filled with lost worlds and extraordinary creatures, each leaving their mark on Earth's history. Though they are gone, their fossils and the landscapes they once ruled still speak of their power. These monsters are gone, but their story remains, a glimpse into a world far wilder than our own. The Earth we know is shaped by their ancient footsteps, and their memory will forever echo through time.